Good morning. I am just going to document this latest release of Scroll. It seems to be kind of stable, seems to be working. Version 177. This was a huge pain to do, but basically I got something wrong in Scroll. You know, it's kind of evolved. Scroll has evolved from first just the syntax, then we added some grammar, and then we used that to build a language called Dumbdown, and from that seemed interesting, and that has evolved into Scroll. So it's just kind of been an evolution. And you know, over time, like if I was doing this from scratch, I'd be like, oh man, we could skip a lot of these steps. This is what we would design. This is how we would do it. But easy to look back in hindsight and be like, oh, I got a lot of things wrong. So one of the things I got wrong was that Scroll, well, first I'll do the simple one. It was a multi-pass compiler, so or multi-pass parser. So, and that's just I just hadn't really thought that was. I just hadn't put any thought into that. So I never made a decision. Oh, I explicitly want this to be a multi-pass parser. I was just like, sure, why not? Other languages do it, so why not? So what that meant was so Scroll would read the entire document once, and then it would go back and read it again, and it would go back and read it. It was actually 3 passes, and the first pass did the imports, and then the second pass did the detecting parsers, I think, and then the third pass did macros or something. So now it's just a single pass. It just goes through once. So we can prove this, a little experiment. So if I type in hello world up there, and now if I do a macro, I can replace hello with hola, and nothing happens, right? But now, if I type in hello world here, we see that macro gets evaluated down here. So basically things kind of change below this line. So I'm going to write this up. I think we're getting pretty close to the point. Well, we're probably past the point where Scroll needs a spec, so other people could make implementations. And I'll cover this in that. But basically, there's an idea of like a parser pool, so it kind of changes here. So these lines below here are run through this macro. These lines up here are not. It's a single pass. We just go whoosh, down. The other thing is imports now. So imports are also a single pass. So let's see if we have. We could do something like. Let's try something totally wild. Let's do marquee. Is that how you spell it? Oops, I didn't want to use AI there. Sorry, hold on a second. All right, marquee. Let's see if that's not available. We'll do marquee 2. So I'm going to make a marquee parser. Just call it demo. So marquee. Okay, this is not a word in Scroll yet. We'll do Q from ID, and we'll do. It's still kind of a pain to write Scroll parsers. Got to work on that, but. So marquee parser extends abstract Scroll parser, and then JavaScript will build. So we still have a host language. I don't know if the marquee tag is still in HTML. I'm not sure, but we'll find out. We'll see if this works. All right, so that looks like that should work. We'll save this file. And let's just try to use it locally. And just go into the index here. Marquee. Hello world. Yeah, okay, that works great. Okay, so now if I copy a link to this file, now I have no idea if this is gonna work. Hello world up there should be fine. But if I write it down here, and then if I paste this, ideally this is what's going to happen. the import is going to run, and then it's going to detect the parser. It's going to add it to the parser pool, and then this line is going to get picked up and turn into a marquee. So let's see what happens. Ah, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Oh wait, is it working? Oh, it worked! There's a little bit of latency, a little bit of lag, but yeah, that worked. Okay, so that was cool. So, and then we got, so, you know, it's a little, some slight gotchas where it's a little buggy there, but, oh man. So single pass parser, you know, so the language has kind of changed from this part of the document to this part of the document. And oh, and does it? Oh, and it says Hola World because the macro is getting run against this as well. So, yeah, so that all works. Man, that was a pain. It also got rid of. So that's part one of the new code, and then the second cool part about it is, so there's going to be some bugs and stuff. Sorry, but the second cool part about it is, now imports and macros, even parsers to an extent, are defined in scroll itself. So like, for example, here's the code that does the imports. So it's, you know, almost 200 lines, but so basically it's just an import parser, right? And then it has certain logic. So you could say, oh, I want to build a new import system, and like change the way imports work in the language. So basically we have this distinction between kind of like the scroll machine, which has to provide like the concept of files and disk and you know, internet connectivity to fetch a URL and stuff. And then we have the notion of the scroll language. But basically the machine just has to provide some simple primitives about disks and stuff. And then if you want to have all sorts of, just like come up with your own ideas for ways macros should work or ways file import should work, perf optimize things, you can just do that in the language itself. And of course, you still need, currently the only host language is JavaScript. So, but I think that's pretty cool. I think in particular, like, I can imagine you could have something like a fast import. So let me just get rid of all this. So fast import foobar dot whatever, and you could write your own kind of import logic to maybe perf optimized for whatever type of file this is. So I think about that with like PLDB or whatever. So it provides a new, probably very advanced use case, but for just, I really like the design because it really exposes the language. The language becomes really modular and experimental, and so it kind of unblocks, certainly with PLDB, which has gotten slower than I'd like, it unblocks that, and we could write faster imports specific to the PLDB code base or whatever. So anyway, so I just wanted to cover that. I think it's a much better design of the single pass language, and the fact that those things are all put into the language itself rather than the SDK. So I know that probably wasn't very clear. I do want to write a kind of a spec, get a spec going soon. Kind of explains the design of the language. I think. Oh, and I got to talk about kind of what the whole purpose of that is. Maybe not necessarily the whole purpose, but one of the neat things, you kind of just like see the vision, is having extremely long programs, whether that be for a blockchain or a database, or in this idea of putting all science into a file. And the nice thing about the single pass parser is basically you can start interpreting things. So this file's 30 lines, but imagine you get a program 100,000 lines, a million lines, 10 million lines long, you don't have to get to the end and then to understand it or do multiple passes. As you go, you can start taking action. And then I think it provides a incentive to be topologically sorted, which I think is going to be very interesting for scientific applications. I think it's a good way to think about things. So I think it unlocks a lot. But anyway, that is it. And cheers. Where are we? Where did my release notes go? So that's kind of the major update. And have a great day. Cheers.